All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Friday edition of Gimme5. Did you happen to catch Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, speaking to the United Nations General Assembly? Now, you'll notice when we play some of the bites, there are a couple of shots along the way, not all of them, that show how many empty seats there are. That's because the world despises Jews. You have to understand that, okay? So a lot of countries leave as a matter of fact. You know, they're just what they do. They would never sit there. It's like what we saw at the Olympics. You know, what was it, the Kuwaiti girls wouldn't ride on the bus with the Israelis. The wrestler from Egypt wouldn't wrestle the Israeli. The fencing guy from another country wouldn't wrestle the Israeli. You know, that's how they're taught as children by their parents and in their schools and in their textbooks and in some of their religious texts. And that's how they act. So anyway, he was wonderful. And he ripped the disgusting, despicable, bigoted, anti-Semitic United Nations to shreds. Watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, the UN, begun as a moral force, has become a moral farce. So when it comes to Israel at the UN, you'd probably think nothing will ever change, right? Well, think again. You see, everything will change, and a lot sooner than you think.
He talked about how governments were increasingly having relations with Israel, talking to Israel, supporting Israel. It's coming along, and there are many, but you know, that General Assembly had a lot of empty seats. And here are some specifics on what the Prime Minister is talking about.
And what about the joke called the UN Human Rights Council, which each year condemns Israel more than all the countries of the world combined? As women are being systematically raped, murdered, sold into slavery across the world, which is the only country that the UN's Commission on Women chose to condemn this year? Yep, you guessed it, Israel.
Israel. The UN Commission on Women only condemned one country in the world. With what we know about Sharia and what we know about how women are treated all over the world, there are slaves in Africa, parts of Africa. And Israel is condemned by this joke of an organization. Watch.
Israel, where women fly fighter jets, lead major corporations, head universities, preside twice over the Supreme Court, and have served as Speaker of the Knesset and Prime Minister.
Yeah, sounds like they should be condemning Israel for that, the way they treat their women. Oh, man. And then there's this pathetic offshoot branch, well, they're all offshoot branches of the UN, called UNESCO.
And this circus continues at UNESCO. UNESCO, the UN body charged with preserving world heritage. Now, this is hard to believe, but UNESCO just denied the 4,000-year connection between the Jewish people and its holiest site, the Temple Mount. That's just as absurd as denying the connection between the Great Wall of China
and China. That cut should say denying the connection between the Great Wall of China and China. That's what he actually said. Now, of course it's insane. The whole thing is insane. The United Nations should be shut down, and the building should be, I don't know, knocked down or rented out as high-rise apartments or something. It's a waste. And we subsidize it. We pay the lion's share for this joke of an organization. We being you and me, the United States taxpayer. We give these guys carte blanche. Most of them are spies, or a lot of them are spies that are in here as diplomats. They can break any law, they can murder somebody, and nothing can happen to them. that just get sent back to their country. And for what? The whole organization is, as defined by Prime Minister Netanyahu, a sham and a joke, and worse than that. Okay, now, I've told you over and over again that I believe that the Security Council is going to vote to recognize a Palestinian state, and Obama, his parting shot on the way out the door will be not to veto that, to allow it to happen. And here's what Bibi said.
I know there's talk about ganging up on Israel at the UN later this year. Given its history of hostility towards the UN, or towards Israel rather, does anyone really believe that Israel will let the UN determine our security and our vital national interests? We will not accept any attempt by the UN to dictate terms to Israel. The road to peace runs through Jerusalem and Ramallah, not through New York.
Bravo, bravo. This is a statesman. This is a man. This is a leader of a country. This could be a leader of the free world. This is how a president should be. This is how a president should be. You know, Obama still hasn't said anything about the police shootings. Not the police shootings. I mean the riots, the hunting down of white people in Charlotte. Nothing. Nothing. I mean, how could the hunting down of white people by blacks compete with playing golf? I'm not saying he's playing golf. I hope he's playing golf, so at least he could say he was doing something else. Otherwise, how do you remain silent? But anyway, Netanyahu, great man, great leader, and Obama could try to screw them on his way out. It ain't going to matter.